Welcome to The Dead Life. Here's world-renowned medium, Allison DuBois.
Today on The Dead Life, we're talking about some of the energy we're experiencing right now. We have a rather important Pluto shift that people are talking about, so we'll cover that. The reason I wanted to do this segment is because many people don't understand what the hell the astrologers are talking about online, on social media. I wanted to break it down, so I do something called street astrology, where I sort of break it down for the everyday man so you know how it will affect you in real life and time. We have a month-long Sun in Scorpio about to exit on Thursday, freeing Taurus from their month-long opposition in moody, transformative Scorpio. I'm sure the Tauruses out there will be happy to hear that now that they understand why things haven't been working out for them or why they've been getting sick. The Sun will move into sunny Sagittarius for 4 weeks as Geminis face their opposition challenges. There's a lot to talk about, so buckle your celestial seatbelts. You can call me at 802-332-3811 if you have a relationship question for our Love Me Not segment, or you want to share a personal experience of your own involving the paranormal. You can start calling in now to share your sentimental Thanksgiving and Christmas stories for December's podcast episodes. I want to hear all about your spiritual encounters during the holidays of Christmas past. To book a reading with me, email us at booking@AllisonDuBois.com. We're booking in-person readings here in Scottsdale for the holidays. Readings also make a nice gift for someone who wants to talk to someone they miss for Christmas. You can follow me on Instagram at Medium Allison, or you can watch me on YouTube to see new and past episodes of The Dead Life. Sophia, welcome in.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for agreeing to be my sounding board today. And I think that you're the perfect person to be here, especially since you do represent the younger generations who are trying to understand astrology. And when we see these posts, some of the astrologers make it easy to understand, like the spiritual weatherman or astrological weatherman.
Yeah.
Like he's funny. But there's a lot of them where you just look at it and you're like, okay, what does that mean exactly? So
where they don't really break it down in normal people terms.
Right.
Yeah.
So November 19th, after 16 years, Pluto, the planet of rebirth and transformation, is finally leaving Capricorn. And people want to know, what does that mean in layman's terms? Capricorn rules government, establishment government, kind of the old guard. It's father energy. It's the way things have always been done. I think for a lot of people that would explain to them what happened from 2008 when it entered Capricorn, Pluto entered Capricorn, until now. And that's how I knew who was going to win the presidency, is because Pluto was moving into Aquarius for the next 19, 20 years, roughly. People vary on where they see that being. And so with it going into Aquarius, it's a rebellion of the people. Aquarius is also things that are unusual or unique. And it's also tends to make people isolationists. So this was going to affect all countries, including our own, which we're seeing right now. So the border issues are what we're seeing as far as the closing ranks and enforcing our borders and boundaries, which is very Aquarius, who doesn't like people in her space. And so you can see that taking form in nations right now that are saying, wait, who's here? Who do we want here? So with it going into Aquarius on November 19th, so the day this airs, it will have moved into it. We're going to see a whole new ball game for 19 to 20 years moving forward. And I'm glad it's leaving Capricorn. Capricorn was a pill. It was hard. It was difficult to feel sort of helpless and as though we had no power. So now with it in Aquarius, the people feel like they have the power, which is a nice thing. So you're going to see a lot of, like I said, isolationism. And I kind of look at Aquarius as a smiling assassin. She can be very social. She doesn't like to be, but she can be. But she also doesn't have any issue with cutting someone off.
Yeah.
And just distancing herself and not looking back. So we're going to be seeing
I feel like everyone has been feeling that lately of looking at who they surround themselves with, seeing what they want to do with that, if they want to go a different way, if they want to keep it, if they want to speak up. So,
and that's really what the 8-year 2024 was meant to do, to make us look at who we want in our life, if we're happy at our job, if we want to move, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So people have been in an emotional blender for the last year.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. And now we're going to be exiting out of that, obviously, January 1st, 2025. However, I will say to those of you who haven't set your intentions going into 2025, it is important to do so. And if you have a vision for something that you've wanted to start, a business, a side hustle, or writing a book, anything along those lines, or even like transforming your life where you're eating better and exercising and doing that sort of thing, you want to really start something now before we go into the 9-year, the year of endings in 2025, because 8 years are very special and we only get it every 9 years. So we want to make sure that we use it for what it's here to serve us best. And for us, that has to do with vision, which is why Divination 22 Vodka became my vision that I manifested in 2024. And if you manifest your vision in 2024, whatever it is that you are working on will be successful, whatever that vision was. So I find it important. So we only have a little time left. So for those of you that are dragging your feet, stop dragging your feet and make it happen. Okay. The sun in Scorpio is exiting the fixed water sign after 4 weeks, and it's moving into Sagittarius on Thursday, the 21st. So the sun in Scorpio for me is always a hard one because I have a moon in Taurus, and so I take an emotional hit. If you have a moon in a sign and there's an opposition, that it represents your emotion and relationships with family and friends, and also romantic partners. So but if you were a sun in Taurus, it's a physical opposition. So you either get sick or you're prevented from doing what you're trying to accomplish. And it just gets frustrating.
God.
So
when is that?
Well, that's what we're moving out of right now. Taurus is leaving theirs on Thursday, and Gemini is moving into their 4-week opposition, and sun in Sagittarius.
Okay.
So you do well in a sun in Sag because it's 11th hour luck. It's the life of the party. It's why we see all the holiday parties in Sagittarius and Thanksgiving and all that fun stuff. So you're going to see Geminis go dark in their 4-week opposition. And I know this because not only did I marry a Gemini, I gave birth to your sister, Aurora. And every year I watch them get moody and go through this darkness that they enter, where they're just not as happy-go-lucky as they usually are. So if any of you out there have a Gemini in your life, just understand there's a reason for it. So we enter that this Thursday, the 21st of November. So Sag is going to be a good time. Enjoy it. It can bring up hip injuries. I find back injuries. Tom doesn't agree with the back injuries, but my sense is it affects the back as well as the hips. And so you're
wait, how long is that for? Is that going into like Thanksgiving?
Sun and Sag?
Yeah.
That's going to go to like December 21st, 22nd,
right
in there.
Christmas.
So it's for a whole month. You're going to see that happening and playing out. I do like the Sag energy coming in though, because people really get things done in Sagittarius. Poor Geminis just take their hit. You know, we all take our lumps every year for a month, and yours is after that when the sun goes into Capricorn. And all you sweet little moonchild aspected Cancers start to feel, well, you get sick every year in your opposition without fail.
Well, it's the worst because it's New Year's Eve.
You always get sick for New Year's.
And then the beginning of every year, we're always sick or something happens. And it's, see, this is a hot take of mine. I personally, as a Cancer, do not like New Year's Eve because it always goes wrong. And they always look to me for plans, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. So if anyone else agrees with me that New Year's Eve is actually kind of overrated, you're not alone.
Yeah, that's not a bad take on it. I don't think people throw parties the way they used to. It used to be more fun.
Did, and it's what I would see for like even the early 2000s of these lavish parties, and everyone puts on their ball gowns, and there's, you know, popping champagne. Like that looks fun.
Yeah.
But anytime I've ever been anywhere for New Year's Eve, it's not like that.
It's cheap champagne and people in
being sloppy,
unattractive dresses. It's like, okay, this doesn't look like When Harry Met Sally. That looked elegant.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Dad and I always stay home for New Year's Eve and just watch When Harry Met Sally and drink some really delicious champagne instead of being somewhere else trying to make it fun. So I get it.
Yeah.
And of course, with New Year's Eve being in Capricorn, that would be the holiday that is kind of like, you know, where everybody's like exhausted from the year and you got to regroup. Although
eating the grapes under the table.
Right. Oh, yeah, that was weird. And then we've got Christmas, obviously, that falls into Capricorn, which is you spending tons of money on other people and maybe having it reciprocated and maybe not. But either way, Capricorn's about money. And so people start feeling pressed in their finances around that time. And I think you're not seeing the lavish parties the way Dad and I used to have them back in the day, because financially times haven't been as good as they were back at that time in 2005, 2006. Things were still really good.
Yeah.
And now, you know, we've just seen like many years of people taking a tumble and it's been difficult. Let's be hopeful that moving forward in 2025, that's about to get a rebirth for us. So we also have Mercury going retrograde on November 25th, and this will continue throughout the month of December. So a lot of people ask, what is Mercury retrograde? They don't really get what that means and why people freak out. Well, the reason we freak out is because it affects all electronics. So anything of communication, anything, your phone, your laptop, anything electronic, which for most people now is everything in their life. And so people are more affected now than normally you would have been back in the day.
Yeah.
Like maybe in the 80s, not so much.
Yeah.
You have to, I call it like foot and mouth disease, Mercury retrograde, because you'll mean to say one thing and you'll say something just completely wrong and offend someone and not mean to. So think before you actually open your mouth. That's going to help you in the Mercury retrograde. I also wanted to talk on more of an everyday people level for Mercury retrograde on how this helps knowing what's coming ahead of time. The reason it helps to understand Mercury retrograde is because with it going retrograde November 25th, everybody's Christmas shopping and many people are online Christmas shopping. So what I say to all of you is if you're ordering gifts or you're shipping gifts for Christmas or Hanukkah, make sure you get your orders out early.
Smart. Because
you're going to see a lot of glitches with packages being delivered to the wrong house or
delays,
getting to the end of your order and hitting the button and having it not go through after you spent all that time. So it's annoying little things like that. Hopefully not too terrible. We don't want any kids crying at Christmas. So everybody, shop early there. Another thing Mercury retrograde is going to affect, and that's why this episode is so very important, is travel. Especially with Sagittarius being a traveler, that's when you see the us hitting peak times of the year for holiday travel and people wanting to go home, and you're going to see flights being canceled. You're going to see weather issues. You're going to see with the glitches that are taking place. Once we had tried to print out our boarding pass in a Mercury retrograde, and all of the printers in the little stands,
like the kiosks,
it just went down, and our flight got delayed like 2 or 3 hours, something along those lines. It was not pretty. So for you all that are listening, print out a boarding pass early, because the phone app that you have that they scan may not work.
Yeah. So your phone might die.
Yeah. You want to have that backup. And there's already a lot of snow reports right now already starting to come in of how it can affect travel. So people are going to be getting it from all angles on this. So I want people to have some sort of a backup plan for Thanksgiving should they not make it on the plane to go home because of things being canceled, flights being canceled. I find that all just so important. So there's going to be a lot of hiccups. Plan ahead to avoid unpleasant traveling experiences. And then December 15th, while Mercury's still retrograde, we've got a full moon in Gemini. So we're going to have a full moon in Gemini, Mercury retrograde. We're going to be a sun in Sag that's a let's have fun and party pants aspect where people just want to have a good time and you're raining on my parade. Yeah, no, it's totally
That's
fun.
good for holidays.
But the full moon in Gemini is not good for that Sagittarius. No. So that'll be 2.5 days, December 15th plus 2 in that 2.5 days after. That we're going to have that full moon in Gemini where people get stuck in their head and they can't sleep and they have weird dreams and all of that. Sagittarius is not going to have fun in that aspect. If I was planning a holiday party, it would probably not be that weekend. Gemini will bring out the crazies. There's a duality to Gemini and it makes people nuts.
Wait, this is December what?
15th. And so the full moon in Gemini is gonna make it interesting.
That's the day before Ashley's birthday.
Fantastic.
I'll tell her.
Make sure she takes Ashley's Sophia's roommate. So tell her to take her vitamin C religiously around that time. So if any of you are Sagittarius and you're going to be trying to travel at that time or do something fun, or you just need to work and don't want to get sick, you need to double up on the vitamin C around that time and buffer yourself. And this is what I love about talking about oppositions and why it's important. There are certain aspects of oppositions that you can buffer yourself or you can buffer someone you love. Because I always buffer you in your opposition. I'm like, come to me. I know where your head's going to be and what your moods are. And I make it better. Or I can buffer it before it happens to you.
You buffer Dad a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
I try.
Dad tries to buffer you too.
Does he?
Yeah, but you're an Aquarius. You're like so hard to buffer.
Am I?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I am. I don't know. I'm a fixed air sign. I mean, we're just our own thing. What are you going to do? So with that full moon in Gemini, I'm just saying for those Sages that are having a good time, watch out also for injuries because a lot of them will probably be on the ski slopes and there's going to be hip injuries and I believe back injuries as well. So we don't want any of that. We want to buffer them. We want them to continue having a good time in their merriment.
Yes.
So we have quite a bit coming up, and I just hope that the year is well spent and has been well spent by people. Thank God that the election is over.
Thank God.
And we can all move on and move forward in these aspects, even though it feels like this whole year has been getting to know ourselves real well.
I agree.
You know?
See, because I always think just because everyone thinks about themselves more than the grand scheme of things, I'm like, oh, it's because I'm 25 and it's because I'm at that age when you think about where am I going to be? Where do I want to live? What job do I want? But then it's on top of that, it's also the year.
Yeah.
Being so transformative.
Hugely transformative. And every 8 year will be transformative like that. But with this being an election year, I think it was most especially transformative, especially with Pluto going into Aquarius in that 8 year. I find it a very powerful year, which is why I really want people to manifest the vision that they have, believe in themselves, take a risk, stop sitting on the sidelines. If somebody's got to succeed, why not you? Let it be you. This is the year to do that. A lot of people get into the I'll do it next year phase of life, or just that's their energy because they lack action and it'll never move for them because they're going to push it off until the day they die and then come back for another lifetime, I guess, because they didn't do it in this one. We're here for a reason. Take a chance. And with the holidays, for God's sakes, everybody put your disagreements aside. It's the holidays. Next year, there will be people that won't be here that will have passed. Don't sacrifice that in the name of virtue signaling or, hurt feelings. Just go have fun, see your loved ones. If there are elderly people in your family and there's something incredible you've always wanted to give them for the holidays, this is the year to do that. With 2025 being a 9 year, a year of endings, you're going to see a lot of people pass. in 2025. And for, those of us that remember how the last 9-year was, which was 2016 when David Bowie died and Glenn Fry and all of these legendary performers passed and people were in shock. 2025 is going to be a year like that as well. So there's going to be quite a bit coming up. A 9-year is not something to be afraid of, though. It can end addictions, which would be great. It ends relationships that no longer serve you, which is excellent. And I'm actually reading a lot of people right now with marriages coming to an end. So I'm really seeing it on the front lines in the readings. So for those of you who are barely hanging on to an aspect of your life or your job doesn't feel secure, this is the time to ask yourself, is this what I want to do? And do I want to do it at that company or with that partner? Mm-hmm. Because you're going to end up having to most likely go in a different direction in 2025. Anything that's feeling kind of weak right now is most likely going to fall off in 2025. So I'm telling people this so that they do have a plan, so they don't feel caught off guard, so they don't feel helpless moving forward through this energy, because it is going to do it swiftly. It will just end things that no longer serve you. I kind of like that energy because I'm a rip the Band-Aid off kind of girl.
I know you are.
And so for me, if there's something that doesn't serve me in my life, I want that to be removed from my space so that I don't waste my energy on people who don't appreciate it or reciprocate.
Yeah.
So it's interesting watching you and Aurora go through your ebbs and flows this year, because you are up close and personal examples for me of exactly what's been going on in this 8-year. And
a lot.
Yeah, I know.
A lot. And I want it to end, but it sounds like it's not anytime soon with 2025 being endings.
No, endings, it can be good.
No, endings can be good.
Can be good. And I don't, want it to be so scary for people. I know some people get all doomy, gloomy about it, but I kind of think it's good when because if something ends, it doesn't serve you, then something new's entering the picture. If you lose friends, new friends enter the picture. I see them as new shiny toys. Yeah. I'm like, oh, the universe took someone out of my life. I'm going to get somebody incredible. And without fail, I'll be sent somebody that I totally vibe with. Yeah. And sometimes we outgrow people. We're in different phases of life, and that's okay. And that's what I say to you, because I'm obviously further down the road, and I remember being your age. As soon as you have a baby and get married, all of your party girlfriends, they're gone, So it's just life changes and players in your life exit and new ones enter, and that's okay. So if people can learn to move with the shifts and not resent it, they'll do very well. The key to moving forward in 2025 is adapt. If you can adapt to new situations and life experiences, you will be wildly successful. Yeah. You will do great in life. It's the people that fight it and refuse to adapt that don't succeed.
Well, even I know you mentioned friends, but so many people I know are being laid off right now. And I'm sure it's not just people around me. I'm sure it's all around the U.S. or I don't know what's going on in other countries.
If it's the U.S., it's the world, because we affect the entire world.
And so, I mean, I would just see that as a good opportunity to do what you want to do at this point, because you're getting hopefully severance pay.
Yeah, and then hopefully
fingers crossed for you guys. But and then you can actually take that time to just breathe and think about what you want.
That's actually good advice. Don't panic if someone hands you a pink slip. Take it as, okay, I got 2 to 3 days. I'm just going to really go within myself and decide, where do I need to be? What do I want to do? Did I take a job that I hate to pay the bills instead of becoming what, as a child, I had always dreamt of being? It's never too late to go back and to gain a skill or an education that you might need to fulfill that dream. Even pick up a microphone and start singing if you have a great voice. You know, don't be like, oh, I'm 40, I can't do it. You know,
that's when social media is a beautiful thing.
That's
you
true.
can just post, you know, you're singing.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
true. So I really hope that people get excited for this year. I'm excited about the holidays. I'm probably going to do what Tom told me not to do this year and overspend on Christmas because I want to make sure that all of the people in my life feel really special. Now, I will make things too because I'm trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
But there are some things with, you know, we've got Nana and we've got certain people in our life that we don't know how many more Christmases we have with them. And so I want to make sure that it's what she wants it to be. Yeah. Not that it's an expensive gift, but that it's thoughtful.
I think she'd like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Something she'd want. She's a Virgo, though. She's a tough one. They're practical beasts.
That's
I'm telling you.
We could do practical. Practical is great.
So for her, and then people that are special to me, I just want to get them little things to let them know they matter to me. And that's what we all need to be doing. And if you don't have money, make something for them. Most of us have some sort of a little talent that we can weave into something memorable for those that we care about. We're alive. We're here. Celebrate, celebrate all of the holidays. It's the people that get to the end of their life that then say, oh, I forgot to live, and you die.
Like, oh, I regret that. I wish I had just gone on that trip
Instead of coming back because you royally took this life for granted, instead of feeling sorry for yourself and saying, oh, nobody handed anything to me. I get that. I didn't grow up with money. I made everything that I have with a skill that I was born with, fortunately, and I'm very lucky, but I worked really, really hard. And if you work hard and you believe in yourself, I feel like a Christmas movie. Anything
it's all
can
those
happen.
Hallmark movies we've been watching.
Anything
we
can
start
happen.
early.
Yeah, you got to go watch Hot Frosty on Netflix. I mean, meow. He was adorable. Was he not adorable?
It's the guy that was the vet from Schitt's Creek.
Okay, but he was super cute. So
he was super fit. That's for sure.
That's true. And then Lacey Chabert.
Love her.
I do too. We loved her in Mean Girls, did we not?
Love her. Gretchen.
Her dad
Gretchen
owned
Wieners.
Toaster Strudel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
There's so much to enjoy this year. And remember when we were in COVID and I just was like, I'm going to rent out a little movie theater and we're going to watch The Grinch.
Yeah.
And Dad and I went and it was just the two of us. And we watched The Grinch and we had the best day. And then we went out to Tempe Town Lake and we rode on one of those little
swan boats.
The swan boats that they have out there. And we made the most of it. And that was in a pandemic. So find it within yourself to live right now. There's a lot of people that don't have that option. They're no longer here or they have dire circumstances around the world that limits them from that. You're one of the lucky ones because you're listening to this podcast. So that means you have at least a phone or a computer or something, meaning you're probably doing better than most of the world. So this is a time of year to be grateful and to share with the people that are around us what we can when we can. It's also a time of year to get our ducks in a row because we're jumping into a brand new year, 2025. I'm going to celebrate that one extra hard, actually. So it's going to be an interesting year. So I thank you so much for being my sounding board and speaking
welcome.
to the young people. With Pluto going into Aquarius and leaving Capricorn, can I just say on behalf of everybody that has been unhappy since 2008, put a bullet in it. I'm so glad it's gone. And
I even wanted to say before you wrap up right now that I know it's not just the young generation on TikTok and Instagram Reels and everyone is a little addicted. Yeah. I myself will try and not watch as many TikToks because it is hours of my life each day that I will spend on TikTok. Like it's really bad. No. So I'm trying to say out there, like maybe do what I'm doing. Don't do that. Don't do that and spend it with family and put your tree up or learn how to cook a meal or cookies or something.
Make some memories.
Yeah. Go ice skating.
You know how much time I've spent on TikTok?
Okay. Well, you don't have a TikTok, but trust me, a lot of people out there do. They do. And an addiction.
I'm glad to hear that you're going to, well, at least you admit you've got a problem.
I'm aware. That's the first step. I'm aware I have a problem.
So I'm glad that you're going to do that, and everyone else needs to follow suit and do something for themselves and get rid of something that doesn't serve you. We're going into that Pluto and Aquarius, and consider this a good thing for all of us. And we're going to be more of a collective soul in what we want, and I'm pretty excited about it. So, and Aquarius is sort of the joker of the royal family that likes to stir things up. So, and it's going to be things that come out of left field that you're not expecting. And it's why you're seeing all the unique people being put in place in government right now that people are like, wait, what?
Like, why?
That's Aquarius right there, to pick somebody that's just not the typical norm. That's exactly Elon Musk. I mean, he's what? Like, if Aquarius was a person, it's him.
Yeah.
So it's going to be so interesting to watch it unfold. And I hope everybody enjoys this week and the shift, especially the sun going into Sag and making us feel full of holly and merriment. So thank you for coming in. And where can people find you?
Well, I do have an Instagram. Find me at my personal Sophia_DuBois, or my photography page, which is Sophia DuBois Photo.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you to my listeners for tuning in. Tune in next week for a fresh episode of The Dead Life. I'm Allison DuBois. This is The Dead Life. And to all of my believers out there, don't stop believing.
Join us next week on The Dead Life. And don't forget to subscribe now to get notified of every new episode.